Hi everyone. So welcome back to the session. In this session, we will be learning what is Git. We'll be learning what is Git, and we will be learning why do we need Git as well. So let's first learn what is Git. What is Git? Git is a distributed version control system. It is a distributed version version control system which is used to track the changes, which is used to track the changes in a code or a file. Okay. So normally we software developers, what we used to do, we will be doing the code changes in our class or in a method level, we will be doing some code changes. So that changes like that code changes will be tracked by the Git. Okay. Okay, let's say an example. Let's say let's say in something like this. Git allows you to work with multiple developers on a project at the same time, and it will manage the versions of the code. Actually, let's say for example, I have created a I have a employee file. Okay, so I have added this, I have added this file to the Git. I have newly created a class and I have added this employee class into the my project. So the Git will track this as a new file, and it will, it will ask you to, push the employee class to the remote. Okay, so let's say there is a one more developer, like once you push the changes, so there is a one more developer who needs to work with this employee. Okay, who needs to work with this employee, and he'll be doing his changes to this employee class, and he'll be pushing the changes. Let's say this is a developer one who did the changes. Okay, let's say there is a one more developer who is like developer two, who is like pull the changes from the remote, and he started working on the employee class, and he also did some changes to the git. He also did some changes to the employee class, and he'll be pushing the changes to the remote repository. He'll be pushing the changes to the remote repository. So here, one thing you have to observe. So developer one created the employee and he has pushed the changes to the remote repository. The developer two is pulling those changes, okay, and adding the new changes on the employee, and he is pushing the changes to the repository. Okay, here developer one, at first developer one will be pushing the changes, so the version would be one, because first time the developer would be pushing the changes to the remote repository. Second time, the other developer is worked on that the same class, and he added some other changes. Once he added some other changes, the Git version becomes two. So not Git version, it will create a versions actually. So if you have done changes and you have pushed the code to the repository, it will create one version. When we are like pulling the changes, when we are modifying the class again, so again it will create one more version. Why it is creating a version? If there is a problem with the changes which we are done, we can roll back to the version one. Okay, so the Git will be maintaining the versions. Okay, so uh, if a particular version is not working, we can able to roll back our changes. Okay, so Git is a distributed version control system. It will track your code changes, which is done in the file, or which you have done in the method as well. It will track your changes. So once you track your changes, it will allows you to push the changes to the remote. The other developer can able to pull those changes, and like, he can work on those changes. So whenever you are like commenting, wherever you are committing, when you are pushing the changes to the remote repository, a new version would be created. Okay, so why we are creating the new version? So in order to roll back our changes, so there might be a chance of getting the code failures. Okay, so at that time, we can able to roll back to the different version, the default version, or the first version, which is executing the code correctly. Okay, so why do we need Git? So why do we need? Let's discuss why do we need Git. So why do we need Git? So why do we need Git? Git will track the changes. Git will track changes. Git will track changes. Git will track changes. Here, um, Git will Git will track the changes. Here you can see what changes were made, who made them, and when. All these details will be tracked by the Git actually. So what I'm trying to say is that, so if you have done changes, so for example, let's say a developer one has done some changes on 3rd April 2025. Okay. Uh, and these changes are committed. These changes are committed to the, remote. So these changes are secured now. So again, if something like happened, again, if you want to do some code modifications on the same file, so again, you'll be like, working on that particular file, you'll be committing the code. So let's say on the next day, you have worked on the same file or different file also. So it will track the changes. Will track the changes. On 3rd April, you have done these changes, and on the 4th April, you have done these many changes. So all these changes would be tracked by the Git. Okay, fine. So now the next is collaboration. Collaboration. The next is collaboration. See, multiple developers. What do you mean? What do you mean the collaboration is? Multiple developers can work on the same project without overwriting each other's work, right? So let's say developer one is working on file one, developer two developer 2 can work on the other files. So in a project, we may have multiple files or multiple classes. So not it is like, it's kind of like, um, Git is providing a facility to collaboratively work. Like multiple developers can work on the multiple files. Okay, even the in the same file also, a developer work can multiple developer can work on the same file as well. But they should avoid the code conflicts. So they should say something like, when they are adding the changes, they should be make sure that uh, once the developer one commit the changes, then only developer two can able to add the changes on that file. Otherwise, there will be code conflicts will be coming up. See, the code conflicts are kind of it's kind of a big concept. For example, let's say that here we have a employee class. So let's say I'm working on the employee class. I have added some deep method called employee. Okay, employee. The other developer also working on the same class, and he is working on the get employee. So there might be a chance that the other developer might add this get employee at the line number 22. There might be a chance. Okay, at that time the code conflict will happen. So what I'll do is, what we developers do is, when we are multiple developers are working on the same file, we'll make one developer to commit his changes, and wait for the other developer. Once the changes are committed, when the other developer can able to pull those changes. So once he pull the changes, he can see that developer one has done added this add employee details. Now, before that, after that, he can add this get employee details as well. Okay, so with this we can rectify the code conflicts. Okay, so yeah, collaboration we have discussed. The next thing, backup. What is backup? See, let's see. Since Git is a distributed, okay, uh, every developer has a full copy of the repository. Actually, every developer will be having the full copy of repository. I'll show that actually when we are when I'll be showing a GitHub my GitHub account. There I'll be showing the repository details. Every developer will be having the full copy of the repository. Okay, and branching and merging. Branching and merging. See, every developer can create a separate branch for his changes. Okay, or we can say that, like, every developer need to create his own branch. A feature branch should be created for his bug fixes or for his new code changes. Then after doing the changes, what the developer will do is he'll be raising a pull request to merge the changes of his branch into the target branch. Okay, let's say for example I'm working on a branch called development branch, and there is a main branch. I want to push the code, so I have written my code in the development branch. I'll raise a pull request to the main branch. Pull request in the sense, so the changes whatever there in my branch, it will be started reflecting into the, it will be merged into the main branch. Okay, so why we will do is, like, instead of, like, why we will do this, why we will follow this approach in sense. See, a developer might if we are directly work with the main branch, if there is a conflict, we have to if there is a conflict in the code, if the code is like getting failed, so again we have to roll back the changes. When it comes to the development branch, so you will be testing each and everything. You will be testing the functionality. After testing each and every aspect, you will be raising a pull request to the main branch. So once the reviewer, reviewed your code changes, so he'll be approving your changes to the main branch. That's what he'll be doing it. Okay, fine. The next one is reward. The last one is reward. Okay, reward. So reward. So using the reward. So in Git, we can easily undo the changes, or we can revert back the changes to the previous version. Let's say, for example, as I already told you. Okay, let's say we have a developer one who is working on a changes. Okay, so these changes he push it to the remote, and due to some situation, the code is, like, failing actually due to some false logic. The code is due to the you know false logic, the code is failing. So what the developer will be doing, so the developer he can able to roll back the changes, can able to roll back the changes, whatever the changes he has done, he has committed to the his branch, he can roll back those changes as well using the some of the git commands. Okay, fine. So that's all about what is git, and why we why we need git actually, why do we need git. Okay, all these things we have discussed in this lesson. In the next session, we will be discussing about the Git commands. Okay, before going and introducing the Git commands, first I'll be installing the Git in my Windows laptop. Okay, I'll show you how the steps how we can install the Git in a Windows PC. Okay, in Windows PC or Windows laptop. Okay, that's all for now. We'll see you in the next session. Thank you.